Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of Golf After Hours with Mike and Dave. I'm Dave Roberts. Mike is out tonight. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, and we wish him well and a speedy recovery. I've got a special co host tonight, the 2019 STPGA Junior Golfer of the Year. And so that's Ty Roberts, if everybody doesn't remember. We're going to be talking a lot of golf tonight. Hey, at the turn, though, it's going to be really exciting. We got a great announcement. I love golf courses that have been around for over 100 years and planning for the next 100. But we're going to talk to Kyle McClure from the Meadowbrook Golf Course, okay? It's going to be very, very exciting. You want to hear what a reason to go up to Fort Worth and play the new golf course. He's going to make a big announcement at the turn. And, of course, we're going to talk about Ryder Cup. You got to talk about the Ryder Cup. I'm going to ask Ty about the ugly shirts. Why do they always have? Maybe they should have Kobe Stevens put the outfit together instead of polo. And so, folks, like Mike would always say, hey, go ahead and grab yourself a cold one. We'll be right back. You're listening to Golf After Hours with Mike and Dave. Welcome back, everybody, to Golf After Hours with Mike and Dave. I am the host tonight, Dave Roberts. Mike has been so gracious to give the duties to me, so I'm in the air chair. I have a special co-host tonight, 2019 South Texas PGA Player of the Year, won over 128 junior golf tournaments, and did a lot of damage in college golf, and now he's back home. Of course, it is my son, and I'm proud. You can talk to Proud Daddy. I got Ty Roberts with me. Hey, Ty, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's nice to be on. Of course, like you said, we're wishing Mike well. Hope he's recovering well and feels better soon. But it's great to be back on the show.
It's good to have you on the show. And, Mike and I have been talking about the Ryder Cup and different matchups last week and things like that. And I'd like to get your take from a different generation's perception, how you see these things, because Mike and I agreed on a couple of the teams, but then some we just didn't disagree. We disagreed on it. Let's just say, okay, it was a nice disagreement, but how do you see this playing out at the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black in Long Island, starting the 23rd?
So let me start off by saying Bethpage Black, amazing golf course. My personal favorite bucket list golf course. So it's going to make for a great event. Off the tee play is going to be very important. As you know, Bethpage Black, not an easy course if you're not finding the fairways. But with that being said, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I bleed red, white, and blue. But, looking up and down the European team, it's hard to find a weakness. I mean, you can look at these guys, you'd be like, oh, Robert McIntyre, Sepp Straka, but they're not Scotty Scheffler. Yeah, nobody's Scotty Scheffler except for him, right? These guys are no joke. You look at their resumes over the last year, 2 years, 3 years. The guys on the European team, they're some of the most solid players. This is one of the best European teams USA is going to have to face, at least in my lifetime that I can remember. These guys are stacked. And not to say USA doesn't have some great players, but they've got a tall order in front of them. So I think it's going to be a lot closer than people are willing to admit.
I've said it myself. It's going to be a 1 to 2 point victory. I think home field advantage should carry it over. But I got to ask you, because you're a big Rory fan. You've met Rory. You've talked with Rory. Instagram once in the blue moon with the guy. Um, Rory wins the Irish Open in a playoff, making an eagle a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago. And then all of a sudden, Scotty comes back this last weekend up in Napa Valley, and he ends up winning there. Do you think that was a statement win saying, hey, guys, we're not sleeping over here?
It's interesting. I think a lot of people have kind of fallen asleep on Scotty Scheffler because they're just so used to seeing a picture every Sunday. It's like a Sunday ritual, just like going to church. You go to church at noon, and then at 4 o'clock, you get a message on ESPN saying Scotty Scheffler's won again. It's pretty normal at this point, and I honestly think if the singles matches is not Scheffler versus Rory, which I mean we all expect it to be, but if it's not, it's a great disservice to golf because the way I see it, I know I'm a Rory, mega fan, but those are the only guys that can beat the other. So Scheffler's going to be the only guy currently that, if they're both playing at their best, can beat Rory, and vice versa. Rory playing at his best is the only person who's got a chance at Scotty if he's playing at his best. I'm going to take everyone at their best. I'm not going to say, oh, if he has a bad day. If they're both playing, firing on all cylinders, they're the only two that can beat each other. And Rory's win at the Irish Open and Scotty's win, I mean, literally just a couple days ago, is proof of that.
Well, let me ask you this. You're saying go him against him, all right, Scotty against Rory. But wouldn't it be more intriguing and for the fans' delight to have DeChambeau go up against Rory? Because, they're 1-1 in major championships, okay? U.S. Open went to DeChambeau a couple of years ago. Rory came back this year, beating DeChambeau in the field at the Masters. Wouldn't that be a better matchup for the fans?
Yeah, a lot of people would love that. They'd see it as like a live versus PGA thing, which would be interesting. But again, I gotta get back to like, how often are you gonna get a chance to put the number one and number two golfer in the world heads up in the most true one-on-one format in golf, match play, where it is you versus them, you guys are staring each other down. I understand the dynamic between Rory and Bryson with the majors. That's amazing. And I want to see it in more majors because as it's proved earlier this year at the Masters, it's not just those two. Justin Rose made an impact on that Masters, but when you have an opportunity to play number one versus number two, I mean, you can't pass it up. Imagine, just a couple years ago, well, I guess over a decade ago, imagine if you had a chance to go Tiger versus Phil. I mean, who wouldn't have wanted to see that at the Ryder Cup? Now, of course, you can't. They're both representing USA, but this is your opportunity to do Scotty versus Rory and settle the two hottest golfers in the world right now. They're the top of the game. It's as simple as that. It's the most clear 1-2 as you can have.
Well, the gentleman that came in second place this last week is number 4 in the world, Russell Henley. Do you think that if we put Scotty together with Russell Henley, especially when we're doing the alternate shot, which is our weakest format, and you probably agree on that, do you think that might take us over the hump of not having such a deficit after day one when we do good in four ball, but also we get to alternate shot, and it's just something that the Americans don't play. So, do you think putting 1 and 4 together would best any of the best combinations of the Europeans?
I think it's a good idea. I understand that the 1 and 4 would be amazing because, I mean, again, two of the best golfers in the world currently. It would help with alternate shot. Another thing I want to say that's kind of going under the radar that he did get on the team is Justin Thomas. That guy right there, you get him in a match play scenario. I don't have his record on hand of what his alternate shot record is, but he's a flamethrower. And even if you paired him with Scotty, I think that's a great opportunity. We've seen them work well together in the past before. So there's a lot of combinations, and I think that's another reason why Keegan Bradley decided to take a step back from playing so that he can focus on. They're going to need a great strategy going into this week. It's not going to just be like, oh, cookie cutter, slap this guy with this guy. It's going to be a point. It's not. Like I said, it's a tall order to beat these Europeans. So there's going to be a lot of strategy involved, and I could definitely see that conversation coming up where you pair Scotty with Russell Henley, and I mean, you can't argue against it. It's a great strategy.
Before we get to John Rahm, because that was a very interesting pick, right? Live tour, but a strong player. Kind of choked a little bit of lately. Had some bad third and fourth rounds. What do you think? I was looking on the page today, the official team page, and you've got the Europeans with their white shirts and yellow stripes. Everybody matches, okay? It looks like they're wearing actually jackets. Then you get on over to the United States team, and not everyone is wearing the same thing, right? And Cameron Young's wearing light blue. Does that to you show that the Europeans are more unified than the Americans?
So yeah, it was definitely interesting seeing that. The organization definitely matters. It's making a statement like, "Hey, we're one. We're all going to wear the same thing. Like nobody is going to try to be different," which I really like. But then again, I wanted to look at it from another angle, and it kind of hit me. Isn't that what America's all about? Being different but coming together on one under one common goal. Yeah, they may not look all the same because they're wearing different shirts, and I know this is way analytical, but the goal's still the same. Doesn't matter what color my shirt is. Doesn't matter what brand it is. The goal's the same.
Well, you have those pundits out there in the golf world who pick up things like that all the time. And, like a couple of years ago, what was it? Cameron Young didn't wear a hat, or was it Xander didn't want to wear his hat and stuff like this, So I know it goes that way. So let's get to John Rahm. John Rahm, major player in the world, done a lot of good. He's had some success over the last couple of years on the Live Tour. Not what he wanted, because there's a couple of others that are, beating the snot out of him. But lately in the majors, he just hasn't really crossed that finish line. How do you see him getting to Bethpage Black since he's hitting his driver sideways?
I think it's going to be a tough task, but it's not like John Rahm hasn't faced down tough tasks before. He won the Masters by double bogeying the first hole. This guy's no stranger to adversity. If you've watched any of his, upbringing and hearing about his stories there, this guy understands what it's like to be put in a difficult position and find a way out, and not only find a way out, but excel. And I don't see why he can't do that. And it's not uncommon for players after achieving something very large. Again, he was one of the top players in the world before he had signed with Live. And we've kind of seen this with Rory, is once you've achieved something major, or in this case, when you sign one of those multi-million-dollar deals, you kind of fall off the mountain a little bit because the motivation disappears a little bit. Oh man, well, I've completed the Grand Slam. Rory kind of, backed off a little bit. We're like, whoa, what's this? John Rahm, he signs this life-changing money deal. Maybe the grind isn't there as much. Maybe that day you don't feel like going to the golf course, you just don't go. And I'm not going to say he doesn't deserve to be on the team. He absolutely does. And I think there would have been a larger outcry if he were to miss the team rather than him being on the team. So I think he'll find his way. He's still a very good golfer in his own right, and this could be his opportunity to re-spark that fire.
So, question before we go to the break. We got about a minute or two before we go to the break. Shane Lowry, Rory McIlroy. They've had very much success. They won in New Orleans a couple of years ago. Just outstanding final round. Do you think that is the strongest two-person team on the Europeans?
Yeah, if we're talking, two-man formats, whether it's alternate shot or any other format where you can have a combination of two players counting for the same score, it's going to be tough to beat. I mean, not that they're 1-2 in the world kind of golfers. Shane Lowry is great, and Rory's obviously number two. But these guys, their connection, their chemistry is so high that they feed off of each other, and you saw that at the Zurich when they did win. They feed off of each other truly, and it's tough to beat teammates. For example, we had like a Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas thing. It's hard to beat them when one guy's firing, the other one's going to pick up off that flame and keep it going. So I don't see why not. Those two should be, in my opinion, the strongest two-man combination, and I would not be shocked at all if they dip into that well.
Okay, so let's get into the singles before we go to break, because this is right. This is cool. All right, we got a lot of great matchups that could possibly happen. But if you're playing and you're Luke Donald, right, and you're Keegan Bradley, and your two slowest players, right, is Tyrell Hatton for the Europeans and Patrick Cantlay, would you put them last, hoping that it just didn't come down to that on the singles day, because you already know they're going to be 3 holes behind after 6?
Oh, I'd try to put my slowest golfer with Bryson DeChambeau because it'll get in his head. Now he used to be one of the slowest golfers, but one thing people don't understand, he hates slow golfers just as much. I'd put him with a slow golfer, and a lot of players they get frustrated by slow golf. For example, Brooks Koepka, another golfer. I know he's not going to be, unfortunately, at a golf course that he dominates, but use it as a mind game. It's a great opportunity. Pair players who are frustrated by slow golfers with a Patrick Cantlay, with a Tyrrell Hatton. Use it to your advantage.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Last question. Last question. I promise. I keep always saying last question, but I keep coming up because you're coming up with some very good things. Sam Burns. Do you think he decided he deserved to be on there? He was a pick.
I'm a little biased. I love Sam Burns, and
Well, I know why, but I had to ask you that.
I love Sam Burns. Listen, people could argue whether he deserves to be or not to be on this team, but I have a feeling this week, and I'm going out on a limb here, he's going to prove why he deserves to be on this team. That man is a true flamethrower. Do not let him get hot. He will torch you.
All right. Well, Ty, we're going to take a quick break, folks. That's Ryder Cup Talk. If you have any comments, please put it on there. We'll try to get to you, folks. We got an exciting guest coming up in just a couple of minutes, Kyle McClure from Fort Worth, and he's going to give you a reason why you need to go back up there. Ty, thanks for the great insight. Like I said, it comes from a different point of view from two old farts like Mike and I, going back and forth because that's just the way we are. We've been through like 14, 15 presidents, so we're that age. So, hey, folks, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Golf After Hours with Mike and Dave, and this time, Ty, we'll be right back. So go pour yourself a cold one, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Just minutes north of San Antonio on Highway 281, you will find Valor Creek Golf Club in Blanco, Texas. Valor Creek is now offering stay-and-play packages starting at $150 per person per night. Relax in the beautifully furnished Tuscany Heights condominium and walk out your front door and play one of the Hill Country's premier semi-private golf courses. So break away from the city and make Valor Creek the perfect getaway for a peaceful weekend or family outing. Call us now at 830-833-0706 or go to www.bcgc.golf. That's bcgc.golf.
Landa Park Golf Course offers an exceptional golf experience to players of every level. This newly redesigned 18-hole public course, nestled along the Comal River, combines a challenging layout with spectacular Texas Hill Country views. Located in the heart of historic New Braunfels, Landa Park Golf Course is convenient to players from Dallas to San Antonio and everywhere in between. Escape the routine. Call the Pro Shop to book your tee time today, or visit us online at landaparkgolfcourse.com.
Texas's best-kept secret, award-winning golf just south of Houston. The Wilderness Golf Club at Lake Jackson has established itself as one of the top 5 places to play in Texas. A majestic piece of pristine property, complete with 18 holes of naturally rolling terrain, nestled in the wetlands area of Lake Jackson. With the small-town atmosphere and the big city accommodations, the Wilderness is a must-play experience. Book your tee time at thewildernessgc.com.
Hey folks, Buck Shannon here at the Flying L Ranch Resort and Golf Course. Located in Bandera, Texas, the cowboy capital of the world, just a short drive northwest of San Antonio. Family and corporate getaways with various accommodations from cabins, villas, suites, and lodges. Also event venues for hosting your getaway. Evening entertainment with outdoor sports and activities. Our 18-hole championship golf course now featuring premier bentgrass, an island green, and a bonus hole. The Wild West Bar and Grill is our newly renovated restaurant right next to the Pro Shop. Also live music on the weekends. You can stay and play and see lots of wildlife and hear about our rich history. All here in the hills of Bandera at the Flying L Ranch Resort, flyingl.com.
Diamante Golf Club, home of the consistently ranked Diamante Golf Course. 18 holes of championship golf, challenging but welcoming to players of all levels. Chef-prepared dining, state-of-the-art courts of tennis and pickleball, the most welcoming and friendliest neighbors around. Attractive homes and premier home sites, a secure community that's beautiful and affordable. Visit us at diamantecc.com to book a discovery package. You're closer than you think to living the good life.
Welcome back to Golf After Hours with Mike and Dave. Again, Mike is out under the weather. My co-host for tonight, STPGA 2019 Junior Player of the Year, Ty Roberts. And we have a special guest giving us a reason why we should go to Fort Worth very shortly. We've got to make that trip up there. We have Kyle McClure, who's the Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation, but all about golf. Welcome to the show, pal.
Awesome. Thanks. Happy to be here.
Hey, you got an exciting announcement. I saw the YouTube video that you had done on Facebook, and I was like, this is so cool. Please tell us what's going on.
Yeah, no, we're really excited. It's been a long process, but Meadowbrook Golf Course, located on the east side of Fort Worth, is scheduled to reopen on October 3rd to the general public. We're going to have a grand reopening ceremony on October 1st, open to the public, where we'll have some remarks and then a ceremony of first tee shot that's open to all public who want to come out and just see what's going on out there. It's really been a really wonderful process. We closed in December of 2023, and really we're hoping to squeeze this in by the end of the summer, but kind of realized that there was no reason to rush something. And everybody who's in golf understands that sometimes a little bit more time just helps make that everything just a little bit more perfect. And so we're really excited to kind of reopen the doors per se, back to our loyal customers, and all the fun people who live around us are excited to see what we've done.
Well, you've been open for 100 years.
Yes, sir.
You're getting ready for the next 100 years. What have you changed on the golf course to make it a little bit different but more exciting?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we obviously would have loved to be able to reopen in 2024, just so we could have celebrated that 100-year anniversary with a brand new golf course. But the scope of the stuff that we did just takes time. This wasn't kind of a run-of-the-mill renovation. We went through and completely rerouted 17 of the 18 holes, all new grass, all new irrigation, all new cart paths, brand new greens, completely rebuilt from the ground up, as they say, with a ton of new exciting features. And so just driving around it today, with one of my colleagues who played the course quite a bit as he was growing up, there's some familiarity to it. You can recognize where some of the old holes used to be and how it kind of felt and how the routing used to go. But I think everybody's going to be really pleased with what we've done. Meadowbrook is really unique, especially because of the contours of the land. It's not just kind of a flat, straight municipal golf course. There's quite a bit of elevation change, both up and down. And this was redone by John Colligan and Trey Kemp, who redid Rockwood, who did Stevens Park. They're kind of very, very well known in the area and across the state. And so there's some things that you'll notice that are kind of typical to a Colligan design. That first putting green is right there next to the first tee, just like you see at Stevens, just like you see at Rockwood. And that's really as an introduction to the course. You pop out, you can walk right to the first tee and get going. So we're really excited. There's some unique features on some of the holes in the landscape. We repurposed some of the existing rock that we dug out of the ground and built it into some of the features, which you see right on the very first hole. So I think you start off with a bang with a par 5, with a blind shot into the green if you're long enough and brave enough to take it on, and then just kind of keep going from there.
Hi.
Yeah, so I'm just curious, like a lot of courses when they make these kind of changes and things like that, they kind of do it a lot behind the curtain. I've noticed you guys, and I'm curious on your insight on, you guys have been very transparent with the people who have been interested, updating with photos, giving updates like I see on here, logging, this is what's happening, this is how close we are to opening, things like that. What led y'all to kind of want to take a different approach and let, the people around, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we're doing, here's some photos, like, look at it.
Yeah, I think, you mentioned, Dave, that I am an assistant director in Parks and Rec. Obviously, my main responsibilities are with golf. But coming up, in a municipal organization, I think it's always important to build advocacy from the ground up. And I think that's something that we've been really trying to do, is stay connected to the people that, that helped make us be as successful as we have been. The city bought the land for the course in 1938. So it's been something that we've had for a really long time. And we expanded from 9 holes to 18 holes at some point along the way. But I think something that's really been special is just the connection with the neighborhood, because it is the only one of our courses that is directly in the middle of the neighborhood. And so trying to make sure that, we're hand in hand with all of our stakeholders all along the way. I think one of the things that if you're in the Metroplex, you kind of recognize that there is a ton of golf courses in the area. There's a ton of great golf courses in the area. And so it's not enough to just be a good golf course, right? Like you also have to be able to take care of people, make them feel special, make them feel like they're a part of something. And I think the city of Fort Worth has done a really good job of supporting golf over the years and then being thoughtful about what we're doing, trying to make sure that when we are going to undertake something like this significant, this is a $15 million renovation. And so if we're going to go ahead and do that, we have to make sure that everybody understands what we're doing, that we take our time to get feedback from the customers, contact our stakeholders and be in connection with the neighborhood associations and all that kind of stuff. But then also, go out and get somebody who's going to do right by the property. Not going to just come in and chop it up, do kind of, a halfway job, replace some car paths and call it a renovation, things like that. You know what I mean? This is a true renovation, bringing it up to the standard that we feel like the area and the customers deserve.
Well, being on the east side of Fort Worth, okay, there are benefits to it than being on the west side because,
Sure.
you've got the I-35 pipeline going up and then it crosses and it goes and it does the Y and one goes y'all's way and one goes towards Dallas. But that
Right.
opens up again for a broader range of customer to have an easier access to go and get and come and play the golf course. It's really not out of their way. Was that one of the intentions of broadening or expanding the customer base more statewide and getting right up there into Oklahoma?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're extremely proud of Rockwood Park. Obviously it's featured on several top 50 lists across the state. We're very comfortable with where it fits kind of in the pantheon of golf courses in the area. We feel like with Meadowbrook being added to that rota and being brought up to that standard, that it's really going to push, people to come to the city just to play the golf courses. And I think that opens up an entire new avenue for us. Trying to partner with local agencies like our sports commission to try to jump on when they're bringing big events and things like that to town to show people that there is, really, really, really strong golf in Fort Worth that's put on by the municipal organization. And I think that, having something like this on the east side, kind of like you said, on the edge, Arlington's not too far, all of the other surrounding areas are not far. Our customer radius can come from anywhere in any direction, and 30 miles, 60 miles. I think people will travel to see this, and we'll be very, very pleased with what they see.
Well, we're always going to Fort Worth, Dallas area for our bowling tournaments because Ty and I both bowl as well as we're scratch golfers.
Sure.
It's just another reason because you're only bowling for a couple hours, and if you're right there in that area, why not just hop on over? So it's not just your dedicated golfers, but you've got the tourism there is just it's blowing up. I mean, one of the greatest things that probably happened for the state of Texas is the PGA went to Frisco.
Right.
It now becomes your area between Fort Worth and Dallas, Frisco. That whole area up there is now like the major hub of golf because everybody's coming to us. You've got PGA professionals coming. You've got the touring professionals coming, tournaments popping out left and right all over the metro. I mean, it's a win-win situation for y'all.
Absolutely. And I think you would be hard pressed to find, a city or a group of cities as DFW is that's blessed to have, two very, very strong golf tournaments, professional golf tournaments. Obviously, there's Corn Ferry Tour events that are popping up throughout the Metroplex, college events that are happening at private courses and public courses all throughout the Metroplex. So yeah, golf is thriving in the DFW area. And I think that was one of the things that we recognized, again, I really want to stress, like we redid everything, we rerouted all of the holes. We built a new irrigation pond. We moved, we built a brand new maintenance facility. So everything's new because we knew it had to be, right? Because it needed to be the type of thing that people felt proud of. And I know staff and Colligan Golf Design and Heritage Links and all the people that were associated with building this course are very, very proud of it.
Well, it sounds like a very exciting time up there for you guys. I think you did the smart thing, being in the business since 1988 of just delaying the opening, changing the grass on the greens, different TIF brands.
Yeah.
And then I was reading that you have some Texas native grass in there, which is more water conservative.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that is really smart in the design is just the integration of all the native areas throughout, and it really brings that contrast between, you know, your manicured, your Tiff Tuff, Bermuda, into your native areas with all your native wildflowers and other things of that nature. Um, you know, in the springtime, those wildflowers were beautiful. You can see them in some of the pictures. It was really kind of incredible. You know, obviously a lot of the wildflower season has passed, but we're still really proud of it. It still looks really good. I'm from San Antonio originally, and so I kind of feel like when I'm riding around, it has a little bit of a hill country feel to it, just because it's not, you know, all the holes are not just directly connected to each other. A lot of times you'll have a manicured fairway with a native area separating two holes, which really kind of makes each hole feel distinct. And I think that was a really smart thing done by the designers. And so we're really excited to see what people have to say. I think, you know, obviously, you know, trying to be fiscally conservative and make sure that we're using taxpayer money as in its best possible way, but also designing something that can be sustainable for a long time. And the integration of the native areas is really a big part of that. You know, we have a natural resource plan in place that'll help us maintain these over a long period of time. So even the people that, you know, they're out there, the people that don't love using, you know, large acreage for golf courses and things like that, I think they'd be pleased with what we did, because there's plenty of areas for flora and fauna to take place and really thrive. You know, pollinator areas, lots of areas. Obviously, our logo is a black-bellied duck. They love the course. They were there throughout renovation. They've stuck around since we've reopened. So I think it's just a really cool place that both golfers and, you know, the native areas, the native plants and animals that make up this part of Texas are really going to thrive.
And I think Ty loves that logo, by the way.
I absolutely do. I love that logo. I'm gonna have to come up there and get a ball marker, a hat, shirt, something. I love ducks myself. But I've got one more question for you, because I know, like you said, it's gonna be pretty close to that city. This is a quick and easy question. What about junior golf? You know, is this gonna be an opportunity for junior golf out there? You got any plans, like tournaments, camps, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we have a really strong relationship with the First Tee of Fort Worth, and so they're housed actually at Rockwood Park Golf Course. So their headquarters are at our main flagship location, as you would say. So yeah, absolutely. First Tee will be out at Meadowbrook. We have a good partnership with Fort Worth ISD for additional junior golf events. So yeah, we're really excited about this. You know, this course has some challenge to it. It's 6,400 yards. It's not the longest course, but everything needs to be really thoughtful when you're making your way. So I think it'll be a good challenge for golfers of all skill, whether you're brand new playing or you're established or you're a junior player of the year, something along those lines. I think that everybody will enjoy this. So absolutely, we love our partners with the First Tee, and we absolutely look forward to them bringing their kids out to Meadowbrook as well.
Kyle, we got about 20 seconds. I know it's opening up. Everybody's wanting a tee time. How can they get a tee time? Give us a website, phone number.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So tee times open up 7 days in advance from October 3rd. So midnight on September 26th. You can book tee times online at fortworthgolf.org, or you can give us a call at Meadowbrook Golf Course. We'd love to have you out, and we're very, very excited.
Well, Kyle, we appreciate you. I know how us people in the golf business are. We work a lot of long hours, but taking some time out to tell everybody what's going on. We appreciate you. We're going to, Mike and I will be staying in touch with you, what's going on, the opening day, all the good stuff that goes along with it. But again, thank you for coming on, and let's talk soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for having me. Have a great rest of your night.
All right, you too. Hey, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get back to Ty Roberts and the journey of a junior golfer. You're listening to Mike and Dave, Golf After Hours. We'll be right back.
Come celebrate Edwin Watts Golf 57th anniversary this Labor Day weekend. Enjoy 25% off all Green Tag closeout apparel, 20% off Skechers and Puma golf shoes, and get a 50% bonus trade-in towards any new club. Don't miss out on these deals and more at Edwin Watts Golf 57th Anniversary Labor Day Sale the 28th through September 1st. Trusted by golfers since 1968 and home to the legendary 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Edwin Watts Golf by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
Landa Park Golf Course offers an exceptional golf experience to players of every level. This newly redesigned 18-hole public course, nestled along the Comal River, combines a challenging layout with spectacular Texas Hill Country views. Located in the heart of historic New Braunfels, Landa Park Golf Course is convenient to players from Dallas to San Antonio and everywhere in between. Escape the routine. Call the Pro Shop to book your tee time today or visit us online.
Just minutes north of San Antonio on Highway 281, you will find Valor Creek Golf Club in Blanco, Texas. Valor Creek is now offering stay-and-play packages starting at $150 per person per night. Relax in the beautifully furnished Tuscany Heights condominium and walk out your front door and play one of the Hill Country's premier semi-private golf courses. So break away from the city and make Valor Creek the perfect getaway for a peaceful weekend or family outing. Call us now at 830-833-0706 or go to www.vcgc.golf. That's vcgc.golf.
At Paragon Casino Resort, the possibilities are endless when you play your way. Imagine your perfect getaway, the kind with non-stop thrills, your favorite entertainment, and a world of luxury. With everything you could possibly want, all at one place. You want it all? Stop imagining it and come get it. Only at Paragon Casino Resort in nearby Marksville. Come see the way Louisiana plays.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Golf After Hours with Mike and Dave. I'm Dave Roberts. He's Ty Roberts. And it's about time to get to the part that I want to talk about for a while, because Ty is going through, just finished school and everything like that. But the journey, we want to hear about that. But kind of following the footsteps with some broadcasting. And so it kind of makes proud Papa. He's looking at being a professional golfer. So proud Papa. But Ty, I don't have very big shoes to fill, so the world's a stage for you. But you started at a very young age playing golf, and then when did you know, as playing golf, because you started with the STPGA right around the age of 6.5. When did you know that golf is what you wanted to do?
I mean, probably before I could remember. I've got videos of me playing golf back when we lived in California, and I physically can't remember them. The only way I remember is by photo, and even then it seemed like, for being 2 years old, I hit the ball pretty well. But I knew golf was what I wanted to do. When I started being competitive around 7, 8 years old, playing against other people and realizing, like, at the time I wasn't taking it that seriously, and I was still competing or winning, and I was like, imagine what would happen if I took this seriously. I started to take it serious, and of course my junior golf career began to excel from there, and I was like, not to sound conceited, but I was like, oh my, I have some talent here. Like, there's shots that I hit where my buddies or my teammates are like, how'd you do that? Like, I can't do that. And I've kind of seen it where I watch TV, I watch pro golf, and I see them hit these cuts, these fades, these hooks, and I'm like, I can do that. Now, that's kind of what gave me the confidence to do that. And of course I used it out on the golf course. But when I first started shooting, consistent red numbers, especially in high school, I was like, okay, I can make a career out of this. This is what I want to do.
Well, the red numbers came at a very young age. A lot of folks, they were like, well, Ty doesn't play a lot of people. But the same people you were playing were going out and branching on other tours where you kind of stayed as a homer with the STPGA. You won your 100th event at the TPC at Sawgrass, or the TPC at San Antonio, which is just not it's not a Wood Lake Northcliffe type of golf course. When the winning there, you're wired to win. When do you shut that wired to win off and just say, hey, let me go just play this casual round of golf?
So I'll answer that in two parts. First part, I think it's an interesting critique to say that I didn't play anybody, because I've heard it before. You hear the rumbles. There's always drama in any sport. But if you look at the people I competed against, Garrett Endicott, Zach Heffernan, look at these guys, all Division One, Max Cavazos. I mean, these guys aren't no joke. They're not. I mean, Ethan Fang, look at him. He's one of the top rated. He's a nobody. That's beside the point. But when you come to the argument of like, how do I switch it on and off? My middle school coach, who didn't coach me for golf, but rather athletics, his name is Charles House. He told me there is no on and off switch. You're either always on or you're always off. So even when I go play a casual round, I'm always trying to do my best. I try to like keep it more inside, but you can ask my buddies back home. When I play, I'm still trying to make birdie as often as possible. I'm still trying to make par when I'm out of position. Like, I care. No matter if it's, 9 holes at 5 o'clock in the afternoon at Landa Park, or if it's first tee box, Canyon Springs, trying to qualify for a local event, whatever it might be.
Well, everybody says, well, Dave, you call him Tiger, Tyger. Why is that? And so I explained to him my high school down in Corpus Christi was the Carroll Tigers. And you're named Ty after Chevy Chase and Caddyshack. So it kind of was a branding thing. It came natural, but more of a branding thing, Tyger. With that being said, and some of the things that you've done, I want to go through a scenario with you. You were at a college event, and your coach gave away a putt, and I had never heard you cuss like that in my life before, right? And you were livid, and so I was telling you about Jack Nicklaus and Tony Devlin just giving the putt, or Tony Jackson just giving the putt and stuff, and I said, son, don't give the coach a reason to give a putt to tie a match. So in that mindset of wired to win, what happened the next day?
Yeah, so not to like throw my partner under the bus because we both had our moments in that match. He had missed a relatively short putt to win the match, and our opponents had one of similar length, and I would say theirs was a little trickier. So I wanted to see it. My guy just missed it, and I believe he's better than them, and he's my guy. I want to see them make that putt to tie us. And of course, my coach came down and decided we're giving that to them, and it made me upset because to me, if you're going to beat me, you got to earn it. I'm never going to let someone win. I'm never going to give it to someone. Now, I understand the match play and concessions and things like this, but this wasn't a putt where you're telling your buddy, in a skins game, pick it up. You're not doing that. So, my dad said, hey, on the phone later that night, he heard me talking about it. I was just frustrated. I mean, it really, shook me up a little bit because I don't like to give up easy points or wins or anything like that in any fashion, basketball, golf, anything. So my dad's like, well, don't give him a reason. So I went out the next morning, first tee time. I led us off for singles, and I was like, look, I'm still steaming from yesterday. I called my dad after about 2.5 hours, and I told him, hey, I just beat this kid 9-up.
Yeah. And I was like, son, you can't call me because you're still on the golf course. You told me the match was over 9-7. You did a Tiger Woods, Stephen Ames on him. And then, of course, I didn't show the photo. I didn't bring the photo where you went and cheered on the rest of your guys. And, of course, your team won the match and the cup and everything. But in the team photo, everybody's still in their golf clothes. But you'd been finished for so long that you were still in your flip-flops. And it was kind of funny because I was like, couldn't you change back in for a team photo? Dad, I was already been done. But with that being said,
go home.
Yeah, wired to win. You without even knowing, you passed your player's ability test for the PGA at Shoal Creek. Course rating is 78.2, and you shot 76.73. Got that nice little letter if you decide you want to go to the club professional round. You just graduated this year. Is it cum laude? Is that did I say it right? Something to that effect.
Magna cum laude, yeah.
Yeah.
Like summa cum laude, magna cum laude. I was summa.
One of the top 25 guys
yeah.
in your class. That's all I know. You had your Mr. T starter kit coming with when you had your graduation stuff on. That's all I know. Very proud of you because, the 4.0 going along with your career, you had it both ends. And now you're deciding to do what? As we're preparing for the tour and giving it a shot next year and maybe trying for the Texas Open, U.S. Open, and before we go to tour school, what is in Ty's bag right now? What are you doing?
So there's a lot going on. Currently, like right now, I'm working with one of my lifelong friends, Caleb, at a startup company. called Tapped IQ, and we are, well, I can't really tell you everything that we do, but we're making life better for a lot of people, and that's something I'm really passionate about. I really enjoy selling things, especially when I know it's going to help others. So that's what I'm currently doing right now. But that's as a bridge. I'm waiting to begin my master's program at UT. Pray that I get in March 15th. But I intend to do my master's there. And the reason why I'm prioritizing this, because people have asked, well, what about the tour? I still want to be a pro golfer. I still want to play professionally. But the way it works with Hazelwood is you have until you're 26. Why not get my master's degree for free from a prestigious university while I can, and then take a shot at the tour? 27 years old, I'll be graduated way before 27. But 26, 25, that's still plenty young to have a great tour career. And something I don't want to look back on in life is, man, what if I would have just got that degree? Man, what if I would have just given myself a chance to experience college at one of the best universities in the world? What if, what if, what if? And that's something I've always wanted to avoid. This is something I've been passionate about my entire life, wanting to be a Longhorn. It's a lifelong dream, and I can't pass it up, especially when the government says, hey, we'll pay for it.
And that is through my military career, of course, folks. He's not getting some freebie, blah, blah, blah. This is something that, because I am a Texas veteran, and that is a right for Ty to do that. So now that you're working with Caleb, you're looking to get your master's. You've done a lot of prep work for it and everything like that. When is your time for practicing golf to stay sharp for when it comes that time that you want to qualify for something? You don't have to knock all the rust off.
So, believe it or not, my opportunities to practice golf are plenty-some. Okay, there is obviously every day I get off work, I kind of pick my own schedule of when I want to leave, because that's one thing about a startup company. As long as the work's getting done, it's not a typical 9 to 5 job. I get my work done, and if it takes me 2 extra hours that day, it takes me 2 extra hours. If I finish 2 hours early, let's go to Land Park, you know? And also, you know how it works. A lot of deals get done on the golf course. For example, this Wednesday, I'll be meeting with a high value client of ours, and they want to go play golf at a very nice golf course, Oak Hills. So I'm going to get to challenge myself on the golf course while also doing some work. So it's, trust me, my clubs go with me everywhere, because more times than not, I'm glad I brought them rather than, dang, why do I have my clubs here? I use them more times than people would think, just for business alone. So I would never say I'm really ever rusty. I'm always playing golf 18 holes at least once a week, and that doesn't count. We have an indoor like, I don't want to say simulator, but golf mat and net and stuff, so we can always hit when we want to blow off steam or tired of staring at a computer screen.
But you do put serious practice in there.
Oh, of course. I mean, if you ever want to be something in golf, unless you're like an Allen Iverson type talent, you've got to practice. Because there's so much in golf that's about feel, and if you're not keeping that feel when you try to go chip, when you try to go putt, even off the tee, it just doesn't feel right. Your hands are going to feel like bricks. You're going to be, subpar chipping, subpar putting, and we know that's half the game right there, if not more.
Well, you've also ventured on the other side of tournament golf. Growing up playing, now for the last year and a half, you've worked with the South Texas PGA Junior Program, which I worked for over the last 16, 17 years. We just got a couple of minutes left, Ty. Tell us how that perception of now in a tournament arena is totally different from player to now being a rules official, being a starter, being that guy that is guiding the young golfers that you used to be.
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate for junior golf. Of course, it's given me everything that I have in life. Um, Without it, I don't know where I would be. So it's always great to give back, so to speak. And a lot of the people I've met through the SCPGA, shout out to my guy Scott Archer, have really had me thinking about going the professional route. Because I want to play competitive and professional golf. There's nothing wrong with becoming a PGA professional and competing, and then like you said, qualifying for Valero Texas Open, or it's the Vertex Bank now in Houston. Like, this could be the way of getting in as well. There's so many paths you can take, and why pass up an opportunity to give back to the youth and become a PGA professional? And whether it's junior golf clinics, running tournaments, I love it. Golf is a game that's meant to be shared with others, but make sure we share it in the right way and a responsible way. And I feel like I can do my part in that as well.
Well, we appreciate you giving back to the game that has brought you many opportunities. And we look forward to seeing where it expands from there. I know that you and I just worked a tournament at Breckenridge. We got about a minute left. And how was it working a tournament that you previously won, watching the guys right there? We got about a minute left.
It was interesting. Seeing how the tournament unfolded. Congratulations to the winner, of course. But it ate at me on the inside because I'm like, dang, man. Like when I played these events, it was so frustrating because people don't understand the guys I grew up with, like Jackson Heimer, again, another Division I golfer. Like we were having to shoot at Brackenridge, we were having to shoot double digit under par, or else you weren't winning, buddy. So it was frustrating to see like some of the strategic choices the guys would make. I'm like, you're so much better than that. Why would you make that choice? Like 17, no, don't hit driver, don't hit driver. But obviously you can't tell them that. You're a rules official. But it was also nice to see it from a new perspective. A lot of the kids, I don't want to say I started this tradition at all. I actually got it from a buddy of mine, Casey Carnes, on hole 14, hitting it down 13. Now all the kids do it. So I don't want to say I started it, but I was one of the first junior golfers for the SCPGA to play it that way. And now it's hard pressed to find a group that not all three don't just go down 13 fairway and knock it over the big tree. So it's interesting to see, like, I don't want to take credit for it, but the footprints of people of my generation, strategically how they've changed that tournament a little bit. And that's just one example of one course.
Well, Ty, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back, wrap things up, and hear a little bit more about it. Folks, go and get yourself another cold one. This is pretty exciting stuff. You're listening to Mike and Dave Golf After Hours. We'll be right back in just a moment.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, the new Callaway X-Forged and X-Forged Max irons have arrived. The new forged irons feature single-piece forging for pure, responsive feedback and a tri-level sole for superior turf interaction. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops to be the first to test drive the new Callaway X-Forged and X-Forged Max irons. Trusted by golfers since 1968 and home of the legendary 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
At Paragon Casino Resort, the possibilities are endless when you play your way. Imagine your perfect getaway. The kind with non-stop thrills, your favorite entertainment, and a world of luxury. With everything you could possibly want, all at one place. You want it all? Stop imagining it and come get it. Only at Paragon Casino Resort in nearby Marksville. Come see the way Louisiana plays.
Landa Park Golf Course offers an exceptional golf experience to players of every level. This newly redesigned 18-hole public course, nestled along the Comal River, combines a challenging layout with spectacular Texas Hill Country views. Located in the heart of historic New Braunfels, Landa Park Golf Course is convenient to players from Dallas to San Antonio and everywhere in between. Escape the routine. Call the Pro Shop to book your tee time today or visit.
Welcome back, everybody, to Golf After Hours with Mike and Dave. I'm the host, Dave Roberts. With me, my special co-host, my son, my pride and joy, my hero, Ty Roberts. Again, Mike is under the weather. We wish him a very speedy recovery. 19 years, Ty, with Mike. It's been a journey. You've been part of it. He remembers seeing you when you were a little kid at River Crossing, cross-handed, while we're closing down the club. You're out there hitting balls and stuff. We've got about 2 minutes. What kind of dedication does it take to get to the levels that you've been?
Real quick, shout out to Mike. I remember the days back at 1250 The Zone. I remember the radio station sleeping under the producer desk. But for junior golf and trying to reach collegiate golf, it's going to take some serious dedication. I mean, some people have a knack for it. I've met a lot of friends that started taking golf seriously in high school and have still made it Division I. But if you truly want to, I don't want to say guarantee yourself, but put yourself in that position, you want to start middle school, really, and taking it seriously, setting out practice plans, sticking to those practice plans, competing, playing in tournaments, as many tournaments as you can, whether it's, STPGA, Legends, AJGA, whatever it is, whatever your opportunity is to play tournaments, compete. And if you can't compete with yourself on the golf course. I used to imagine scenarios out at Northcliffe. Oh, I got a birdie one of the last 3 holes or else I missed the cut, something like that. Because if you're always putting yourself in those situations, when those situations appear to you, it's not going to feel strange. You're not going to lose your composure. And that's one of the biggest things in being a competitive golfer is being able to keep your composure, keep that heart rate down. When you're hitting a shot like this one right here on 17 at Sawgrass, you got to have composure. And you're going to be able to learn that through experience of playing. And like I said, some people have a knack for it, but that's the biggest thing. Learning composure, performing in the big moments, that will get you noticed. A lot of coaches want players who are solid up here as much as they are out there on the course.
And have a qualified PGA professional as your golf coach.
Yeah.
You got to have that guy because we make golf.
Consult your local PGA pro.
Because we make golf a better game. All right, Ty, we're going to have to wrap it up. We're running out of time. We got to pay the bills. We want to thank Johnny G, like always, for GA Media. Always puts us on the air. Ty, thank you for your time. We also want to thank Kyle McClure up in Fort Worth, man. Folks, Meadowbrook Golf Club opening October 3rd. That is exciting news, folks. We want to wish, again, Mike speedy recovery. Hope to see him back within the next week or so. But until then, folks, remember this. Rain or shine.
Book your tee time.
All right, folks. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.